So, what has been my biggest challenge in life? Good morning, my friends. It is I, John, here in the studio drinking my mug of coffee. I hope you are having a great, great day. I wanted to hop on and answer this question because it was very rare I get to answer a question like this. And I think it's one of those questions that people need to hear an answer to because I think they'll relate. You know, question was from, I forget who this was from, but the question is, what has been your biggest challenge in life? And it's an interesting one because I've had a lot of big challenges in life. I broke my back at 22 and came back from that. Um, I had so many different things. I had an abusive father. I had a lot of things in life. But when I look at the experience of my entire life, what has been my biggest challenge? I would have to say my biggest challenge was my own self doubt, my own self worth. I Because of my upbringing, because of what I came up, I was told as a young child that I was a worthless bomb, and that was the nickname my father had for me for years. And that sort of experience left me with the concept of no one likes me. I'm ugly. I'm not an attractive person. No one wants to be around me. And I was very afraid of what people would think of me all the time. This led to me being a very big introvert. And I know that sounds crazy considering you probably see me in your house every day on a video. Um, I, I I was a very big introvert and still kind of am. And I'll explain that in a minute. But when I was in high school, I was in my a creative writing class for 3 months, and the teacher still didn't know my name because I was invisible in the room because I never spoke. I was one of those kids who I knew anything that would come out of my mouth was going to be taken the wrong way or I was going to be made fun of. So I never spoke. It wasn't until someone drugged me to a Renaissance festival and put me in a costume and I started getting all this positive reinforcement just for how I looked in that costume that changed my entire experience. And I did over 4,000 live performances on stage with a comedy sword fighting show all over the world. But what most people don't know is when I did Renaissance festivals especially, I'd go on stage, I'd perform, and I'd have my character, and I'd do all that stuff. But Monday through Friday, I was not a social animal. I stayed usually in my camper doing what I wanted to do. I did not really have an experience that a lot of my friends were out partying all the time and doing all that. I much preferred being in my trailer with my dog. I had a big, beautiful Rottweiler named Odin. But my biggest challenge in life has been self-doubt, self-worth. Now I'm doing these YouTube channels, and I'm talking every day, and I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm sitting in my house. I'm working in my front room, right? I still very much prefer not going out. I talk about the idea of going to the grocery store and exhaling and smiling and walking in, right? It's an event. Going to the grocery store is an event because I really am a homebody, right? I'm still someone who, and now it's not about self-doubt, self-worth. It's about understanding that that's who I am. Right. And understanding that I can be loving, be caring, do all these things in my own personal way. And I had the struggle of it for a long, long time. And like I say, it's not necessarily a struggle now, but it's still definitely still a part of my personality. What's great about sitting here in my studio talking to the lens of a camera is as I'm talking, it's just me talking, right? It allows me the freedom of not worrying about what somebody else is going to say. It allows me the freedom of creating this truth of my own. And let me say, I love my life. I truly do. I have a great life. When I do go out of my house and go out and do things, I laugh with somebody every time I go. I laugh with someone. I make someone feel great. I smile at people. And that makes me feel wonderful, right? But I am a person with all the classic tendencies of an empath. I crowds. I feel that crowd when I'm in them, and sometimes I feel I'm compressed. Right? I love animals. Love animals. And sometimes I don't love people as much. Right? I do love them all, of course, but I tend to recognize where they're in fear and anxiety, and I also have those realizations of like going home for the holidays. There are certain members of my family that I just don't resonate with, and I have to love them for who they are, even though they don't love me for who I am. Because that's the truth. They're just on their own personal journey, right? When you look at your personal world, that's self-doubt, that's self-worth. All those things come from past experiences. You've got to set them down. I will never be a party animal because I'm not a party animal. I don't like that experience, so I don't do that experience. I would much rather go to a beach and paint a picture by myself or with one or two close friends than go to a giant party with 1,000 or 20. I would much prefer to go and just sit on a porch and talk with somebody than go see a concert. And I've only seen very few concerts in my life. I'm very lucky. I had some of the best concerts ever, kinds that people would not think are the best concerts. But I saw Harry Chapin live solo, and I saw Beach Boys on the beach in Atlantic City. And yes, those kind of situations, it's like great, but the challenges of life are there for us to overcome in some way. And sometimes the overcoming of that challenge is the opportunity for us to say, okay, I like who I am. I like how I am. Where my challenge was overcome is when I came to the realization that those judgments and those things that I'm getting from other people is their issue, not mine. They're the ones who have to judge to feel powerful. They're the ones who have to knock people down to make themselves feel better. I had a friend of mine whose wife was, a very interesting social animal, right? And I like all kinds of music, and actually I liked Hootie and the Blowfish, believe it or not. And I was really into Hootie and the Blowfish. I just kind of I liked the fun, loose party feel. It was just like, it was just interesting. And one day we're sitting there and we're all talking, and she said, "What kind of music do you like, John? You don't like Hootie and the Blowfish, do you?" She started mocking Hootie and the Blowfish, and it made me laugh. Because what's it matter if I like Hootie and the Blowfish? What's it matter if I like country music or reggae music or 40s jazz? What's that matter? It doesn't. That was her trying to knock someone down because they didn't believe as they did. It's the same thing with religion. They knock you down if you don't believe the same as they, right? So it comes to the point of realizing that all of those self-doubts and all of those anxieties are the results of people throwing their own beliefs on you, trying to knock you down to make themselves feel powerful. And when you come to the realization of saying that's theirs, not mine, they lose all power and they stop trying to knock you down. And when they stop trying to knock you down and you don't give that power, that's powerful. That's real power. Because my son, when he was young, he had a bully. He used to pick on him. And one day we were going to school, and I said, are we choosing to have a good day today or a bad day today? He said, we're going to have a good day today, Dad. That's good. And so I said, when that bully comes up to you and he starts picking on you, just look at him, smile, and say, we're not doing that today, thanks, and walk away. He said, okay. He was never bullied again because he took the power away from the bully. The bully was bullying to get a reaction. And when he didn't get the reaction he wanted, the bully went to somebody else. That's theirs, not mine. That's theirs, not yours. Self-doubt, self-worth, all of those things are just the fear of not being loved. Love yourself enough to say that that fear that they're spewing and trying to knock you down is their fear of not being loved. Identify their fear as fear. And suddenly, there is no more self-doubt. There is no self-worth. Now, why don't John, why don't you like going to parties? Because I'm not a party guy. It's not the kind of thing I like to do. I would much rather sit in front of a campfire or a bonfire on the beach, right, with some friends, a couple of friends. It's just who I am, all right? And I like me. So that my biggest challenge in life was overcoming that self-doubt, that self-worth, and those struggles of being told that I had no worth. And no matter what my abusive father was part of that. You know, I personally believe my broken back was part of that, because I was like, oh, I can't, I still have my self-doubt, self-worth, and I was going for a big goal, becoming a stuntman, and self-fulfilling prophecy, break your back. But I overcame that too. So that's my biggest challenge in life. That has been my biggest challenge in life, that I still have residual effect from. But I've come to a point where I really come to love myself enough to live the way I want to live. And yeah, believe it or not, I am still kind of an introvert. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.